Basketball is the most competitive sport amongst the North American Power Four for many reasons. Firstly, rosters are small. Whereas an NFL roster holds 53, MLB 40, and NHL 20, an NBA team is made up of only 15 players max. Then you must take into consideration that the games are only 48 minutes long, the shortest of these four. And lastly, there are only 5 positions available on the court, the most exclusive. In a world where the best are paid unimaginable riches and the 16th man is cast away with little second thought, you can imagine tensions are high even within a locker room. Then you have to take into consideration the me versus you reality of the game. Your objective is to make your opponents look bad on the basketball court. And if you do a good enough job, they may be out of the league thanks in large part to what you did, and in return you will be paid handsomely for your efforts. This type of environment breeds rivalries, which sometimes grow into flat-out beefs. Today, I want to begin a new series on this channel, where we look at the history of a basketball beef and try to understand its origins, how it was displayed either on or off the court, and what happened afterwards. And before you say it, yes, I know this series idea has been done before. I am in no way claiming this as an original idea. Instead, I want to build off of work done by others and tell stories not usually told. So before we dive into today's story, please like the video if you have not already. Comment below some beef you have seen and that you are interested in, and subscribe if you like basketball content. Now, let us get rolling with some heated history. Sasha Vujacic versus Goran Dragic. One more interjection. I need to preface a lot of what I am saying here with this. Neither Vujacic nor Dragic have given much public explanation to their distaste for one another. Everything I will explain is fact, but exact reasoning is up for interpretation. I will do my best to explain my thoughts using the context clues available. Though they may seem to come from two separate eras, Vujacic is only 2 years older than Dragic. But if you look at their current statuses in the NBA, you may have thought otherwise. Both were born in Yugoslavia in the mid-1980s. A little oversimplified history here. The part of Europe formerly known as Yugoslavia has since been broken up into 6 smaller countries for a variety of reasons that this video is not meant to explain. What is important for our story is that Slovenia became independent in 1991, and almost immediately they carried on the Yugoslavian tradition of playing basketball at a high level. Though they were small, it did not take long for the country to qualify for their continent's Eurobasket tournament, the planet's premier continental basketball championship. Though it may seem like an odd belief to an American, but for over the past 100 years, representing one's homeland in international sports competitions is one of the greatest honors an athlete can hope to achieve. Sadly, financial opportunities have soured this in the States, as many Americans prefer to take summers off. But that is a story for another day. The Eurobasket tournament is widely known to feature the most talented national teams on the planet, most donning at least a handful of NBA talent. Yet, if you go back through the history, a name is missing from the Slovenian roster. This being Sasha Vujacic. Despite entering the NBA in 2004 as a first-round draft pick, joining the Kobe Bryant-led LA Lakers, Vujacic had never appeared on the Slovenian national team roster throughout the 2000s. A theory often found online is that he saw the players on the Slovenian squad and thought the team would never get very far, so rather than waste energy losing, he would rather sit out. He was not the only Slovenian in the NBA, however. Guys like Beno Udrih and Primož Brezek were also representing their national team, but perhaps Vujacic thought he was better than them. After all, the Lakers were a really good team, chasing rings, and he was a valuable role player for them almost immediately. Countering this theory, however, in interviews down the road, he spoke fondly of the opportunity to one day join the Slovenian national team. So unfortunately, I have no idea why he suspiciously never played in any of the 03, 05, or 07 Eurobasket tournaments. Goran Dragic, meanwhile, made sure not to miss his opportunities. In 2006, at 20 years of age, Dragic made his first appearance with the Slovenian national team in the World Championships, and though he only played 7 total minutes, he was part of their 9th place finishing team. Then in 2007, he would appear in his first Eurobasket competition, with an increased role helping them finish 7th overall. In 2008, Dragic would be drafted with the 45th pick in the second round to the San Antonio Spurs, then immediately get traded to the Phoenix Suns. The 2009 NBA season would be the first time these two would officially face one another on the hardwood. But Vujacic, now 24 and in his 5th season, obviously had more court time, so the two really did not come eye to eye. In the end, the Suns would fail to make the playoffs and the Lakers would win the championship, so the two were in drastically different levels of the league. It was the summer of '09 where this beef finally was born. Going into the offseason, Vujacic was quite popular in the US thanks to his status as an NBA champion with the Lakers, but did have a noticeably poor season with his shooting efficiencies falling to a split of 38% from the field and 36% from deep. This, along with his unwillingness to play internationally, may have hurt his reputation in Slovenia. Dragic, meanwhile, was coming off of a season learning behind future Hall of Famer Steve Nash. Both headed back to Europe for pre-tournament camp, looking forward to Eurobasket '09. Things get messy here. Apparently, Vujacic entered camp with a minor knee problem, though he had already had surgery earlier in the summer. Vujacic claimed he felt strong and ready to shine, but also that he was frustrated that the team failed to create a rehab plan for his knee. After the team's 2-week training period, he was cut from the roster, and Dragic remained. It is important to note here that Dragic is a point guard and Vujacic is a shooting guard, which may seem very one and the same today, but in the 2000s, these two were very different, so to suggest that Dragic took Vujacic's spot would be flat out wrong. But nevertheless, Sasha was upset by the team's decision. He was forced to turn his focus to the upcoming NBA season. In that '09 tournament, Dragic helped Slovenia, putting up 9 points per game as they finished 4th overall in the tournament, their highest finish in their country's 18-year history. In the 2010 season, both teams were highly competitive. The Lakers and Suns fought all year long for the top spot in the Western Conference. Eventually, the Lakers finished on top with 57 wins to the Suns' 54, but independently the tides had turned. Vujacic fell out of the Lakers' rotation, putting up a career-low 2 points per game on 30% three-point shooting, which was at one point his biggest selling point as an NBA player. Dragic, meanwhile, was proving himself as a valuable sixth-man and backup to Nash, putting up a career-high 7 points and 3 assists per game with a 39% deep shot. In these playoffs, Dragic stepped up big time, helping the Suns reach the conference finals. Vujacic, meanwhile, did not appear in a game until the conference finals. Game 5 of this series is when the beef finally aired itself on television. In Vujacic's second game of the playoffs, he was guarding Dragic in the 4th quarter. This play does not look like much, but after a simple pass from the top of the arc, the two made contact in a little, "I'm gonna put my hand on you, no you're not" sort of way. Neither player seemed too upset initially, but after a foul on Pau Gasol away from them, Vujacic spins around on a mission, this being to get in the face of Dragic to tell him something. Dragic gives him a little "get off me" shove, leading to a fit of "what? Me? I didn't do anything" by Vujacic. I think it is funny to point out that Dragic continues to walk towards him following this, but Vujacic backpedals behind his teammates and the referee for safety. Not much here, but even the announcer pointed out that the two, despite being from the same country, were not in any way friends. Then in Game 6, early in the 4th quarter, Dragic went one-on-one in Vujacic and nailed a step-back jumper right in his face. Immediately following the shot, Vujacic turned his head right towards Dragic and said something. Exactly what, nobody knows. I must point out though that he was talking to Dragic and nobody else. The Lakers bench was not in his line of sight and no teammates were down the floor beyond him. Goran, already not a fan of Sasha, walked towards him saying something else which must have pushed a button because once they made contact, Vujacic sent his arms flying in the air for no reason other than drilling Dragic in the chin. In true professional athlete fashion, Dragic sold this hit on the ground for a minute, which got the crowd jacked up and forced the refs to hand out a technical foul on Vujacic. After nailing the technical free throws, Goran blew by Sasha again for a layup, then made another to complete an 8-0 scoring run by himself. Despite winning the battle, however, the Lakers won the war, winning the series in 6 games. Afterwards, Dragic played it off calm and professionally, stating, "I was not mad at him, and I hope he is not mad at me," and even wished him good luck in the finals, but did make it clear that they do not communicate during off-seasons. Vujacic's interview had a much different tone. He made it seem as though Dragic said something about his family and made sure it was clear to everyone listening that if he wanted to intentionally hurt someone, he would make sure he did it. These Lakers would go on to win the finals, claiming Vujacic his 2nd championship ring. Though the rivalry had been ignited, the two would never face one another in any meaningful games from here on out, as their careers went down different paths. Sasha never tried representing Slovenia again, and was traded the following season after another slow start with the Lakers. He then bounced around the league, including stops in Europe, until playing his last NBA game in 2017 at 32 years of age. Dragic, meanwhile, only climbed the mountain of personal success. In 2014, he claimed the league's Most Improved Player award, leading the Suns with 20 points, 5 assists per game on a 50-40 shooting split, making the All-NBA 3rd team in the process. Then in 2017, he captained Slovenia, helping them achieve their first ever Eurobasket championship in stunning fashion, going a perfect 9-0 in the tournament. Dragic put up 22 points, 5 assists a game, shooting 48-38 split, claiming the tournament MVP honors. Then in 2018, at the age of 31, Dragic had another terrific year, putting up 17 points, 4 assists a game with the Miami Heat, making his first and only All-Star appearance. Currently, Dragic is chasing his first NBA championship alongside Jimmy Butler in the Heat, and I will be the first to say that I am rooting for them. And that seems to be all she wrote. Sasha Vujacic and Goran Dragic are not friends. That is the point of this video. Thank you guys for watching the first edition of this Heated History series. I would love to read your feedback. Maybe you have a little more to add to the story, or perhaps you have another feuding duo I should look into. Please comment your thoughts below, like the video, and subscribe. I will see you all next time.